Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another yearly roundup favorites. Today we're going to be focusing on skincare, and I'm going to be honest, I don't even know if I'm going to yet again speak about all of the products that are in front of me, because I feel like when you're doing year-end videos, it's really easy to almost be fooled by something that you really liked but maybe didn't necessarily produce results. And when I'm talking about these skincare products, I really did want to put an emphasis on things that I felt like produced results, not necessarily products that I just, enjoyed using, which is a completely valid reason for a product to be your favorite, just because you flat out enjoy it versus actual results produced. But today I really wanted to try to focus on the products that benefited my skin for specific reasons. I hope that makes sense. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Let's get started off with makeup remover of the year. I'm going to give that to the Pharmacy Green Clean. This is a constantly replenished product in my skincare routine because it is oftentimes the very first step of my nighttime skincare. I use this to remove everything. It breaks down waterproof makeup like that, and I wear pretty much exclusively waterproof eye makeup that's notoriously really difficult to remove at the end of the day. This takes off my makeup without any aggressive pulling, any tugging, or having to be aggressive with the way that I remove my makeup. It just instantly melts all of my makeup down. And as someone with a little bit more of a sensitive, eczema or dermatitis prone skin type, this has been in my routine for years. I've never had any issues with it. I'm always game to try a new cleansing balm, but this one was just my favorite because I always relied on it. So cleansers, I actually do try a decent amount of cleansers. I know some people don't really like particularly fancy cleansers and they think that they're a waste of money, but I do find that there are certain cleansers that are very aggressive to my skin and cause bad reactions. Or there's cleansers that really give me a nice sensation of a clean base ready for the rest of my skincare routine, or just, I love cleanser. I think it's an overlooked product. I don't necessarily think it's something that you have to splurge on, but I also have splurged on cleansers and really enjoyed them just as much. So definitely one of my favorites was the Fresh Soy Face Cleanser. This is a very gentle, lightly foaming cleanser, but it still does the job in terms of breaking down any residual makeup that you might have missed throughout the process, and just leaving you with that really nice clean base while not stripping your skin or making you feel dried out. And it's also just really nice to be used in the morning. I am a morning cleanser person. I know some people like to splash off with just a little bit of water in the morning, but I like to start the day with a fresh cleanse and end the day with a fresh cleanse. So the other one that I really liked was from CeraVe, the foaming facial cleanser. This one's obviously a little bit more affordable. CeraVe has been a consistent skincare brand that I've really gone to throughout the past few years of my life. Again, dermatitis is just this new adventure we're embarking on. I'm not necessarily sure what flares it up for me yet, but I've definitely had dermatitis more often this year than I did eczema. So that's strange, but CeraVe is just a good standby product to lean on when my skin was on the fritz and I needed something that was going to cleanse my skin without getting nervous about using something that was going to make my skin freak out or result in more dermatitis. So really great, just a good cleanser. I mean, I liked it. By far the year of 2021 in terms of moisturizers, my absolute favorite was the Pond's Dry Skin Cream. This is not the most aesthetically pleasing product to have out on your countertop, but the stuff in the actual package is incredible. I love this moisturizer. I think it is so good. It is so classic, so simple. I even like the nostalgic, light fragrance to it. It just, I don't know, I love this. It provides my skin with such great moisture regardless of the season, and especially if it's layered up during the winter time. I really felt like my skin was protected from the wind and the cold air. Makeup goes so beautifully on top of this. It doesn't pill, it doesn't crumble. It keeps my skin hydrated all throughout the night. I loved this one this year, and it's just, like I'm telling you, that the smell is also just quite nostalgic to me as well. But I was a very big fan of this as just my everyday and every night moisturizer. And then this was also the year of slugging for me, and I feel like slugging really took my skin to the next level, to where I didn't constantly feel like I needed all these crazy hydrating products or to be going overboard with layering all these different types of skincare on top of my skin, because at night I was using occlusives to really help keep my skin from losing moisture throughout the night, and then in return in the morning I had even better skin. So I used pretty much anything. The CeraVe healing ointment was amazing. Aquaphor, I went through multiple tubes of Aquaphor this year, and then of course Vaseline was a great one, and then the Vaseline all over body balm stick. This one specifically I really liked to keep in my bag. Vaseline has actually been something that really has helped my skin because it's a really great protective barrier. So I would use this one specifically underneath my eyes or around my mouth or the corners of my nose, any of those areas that are more prone to either resulting in an eczema flare-up, or this year specifically, that dermatitis flare-up that I had for months on the right side of my face, and then it went on the left side of my face. By just putting something like this protective on throughout the day, it made a huge difference, and then using these at night as my very last step, it really gave my skin something protective that kept it just better. It just made my skin better. I don't know how else to put it, but using these types of products, game changer for me this year. Let's talk about toners and essences. So the first one I want to mention is the Origins Mega Mushroom Toner. It's like a hydrating lotion water. This is another product that has been replenished in my skincare collection for years. Every time I run out, it's constantly repurchased. I'm kind of running low on this one as well, but absolutely phenomenal for skin types that are easily agitated, or if you have like some sort of compromised skin type where you have eczema or dermatitis. Using this and really pressing it into that area, for me personally, made such a big difference. It's very soothing, and it drastically, not even drastically, it visibly cuts down the redness on those irritated parts of skin. So I had, you know, like visibly very red dermatitis in my chin area on and off throughout the summer, and this really helped so much. And there was one point where I had, the dermatitis was just like, it stung all day. Even if I wasn't touching it, I wasn't wearing makeup, I took this and put it on a cotton pad and left it there just while I was watching TV for a few hours. It just completely tamed the skin, and it was way more comfortable and way more bearable to deal with for those days when I was like kind of constantly applying this to those areas of my skin that were, you know, agitated for whatever reason. And it's so soothing. Another thing I really liked about this was in the wintertime, when you get those broken areas of dried skin around the nose from blowing your nose or wiping your eyes because they're watering during this time of year. This just patted into the skin. It's incredibly soothing and just very repairing for the skin. So I really stand by that product, and just the Mega Mushroom line in general has been so great to my skin over the years. Now the other one I want to mention, the SK2 facial essence treatment. Yes, I worked with SK2 last year. That was a dream come true, but I mean, I'm not working with them anymore, and I still will continue to keep this in my skincare routine. I use this every single morning. I use this every single night. The way that this just keeps my skin looking really naturally bouncy and hydrated, and the days where I don't use it, the visible dullness that my skin has, it really speaks for itself. I feel like the results that I get from consistently keeping this in my routine are all that I need to convince myself that this does do something for my skin. It also really helped with visibly brightening my skin. I had a lot of acne this year, dermatitis, just all of that resulted in a overload of hyperpigmentation on my skin, which has been really difficult to deal with. But the essence is not only a very comfortable feeling on my skin because it does have this almost like oily feeling to it when it's pressed into your skin, so it feels so moisturizing. Although the SK2 essence didn't completely negate the hyperpigmentation, I do attribute a significant amount of the hyperpigmentation lightening and brightening on my skin to the SK2 essence. And so for an essence to do that, I think is really quite incredible. But I have needed some help from some other serums and exfoliating products to help with that leftover hyperpigmentation. And by far one of the best ones that really helped with, I guess you could say, oh, we're moving into serums, by the way. But one of the ones that really helped my skin with hyperpigmentation, uneven texture, acne, closed comedones, like all of those issues in my skin that were really attributing to texture and just visible stuff that you could see, and it was really distracting. The Ole Henriksen Dewtopia. I've repurchased this 2 times now, and I use this very consistently. I recommend this to a lot of people. I'm going to say that I feel like pretty much everyone I've recommended it to has really been happy with the results that they got. This is a rather intense acid exfoliating serum, but if you can work your way up to using an amount of the product that your skin is comfortable with, I think it's just completely transformative. It really helps break down those, you know, closed areas on the skin where you start getting those little speckly textured bits. It helps break those open so that, or exfoliate them. It's not, you know, literally breaking it open, but it helps rid the skin of those. It helps with preventing acne because you're getting all of that dead skin completely off of the, you know, top layer. It just helps so much with like brightening my hyperpigmentation. The more I consistently use that, the more I notice that my skin tone is just looking more and more even over time. And I really do think that this has been one of the most transformative products I've used this year. Also, just coming from someone with dry skin, wow, this is amazing. It makes your skin feel like so moisturized, and just like you really do get that like fresh layer of baby slick skin, and it's just such a treat when I use it the day after. I feel like I got a professional facial because my skin just looks that good. If you've never used those types of acid products, then I would definitely recommend trying something that's not quite as intense at first and really working your way up to something a little bit stronger. Not that the Ole Henriksen one is dangerous or going to ruin your skin, but if you've never used something like that, it's a different type of sensation. The skin feels a little bit tingly. It can sometimes feel a little bit itchy to certain people. And one that's a little bit more easily accessible and also a lot more gentle is the one from CeraVe. This is the same concept, just a lot more gentle and not going to cause any type of, you know, visible redness or pinkness in the skin. So definitely a good entryway product to something like the Dewtopia. It's the Skin Renewing Nightly Exfoliating Treatment. This one is extremely gentle, and probably one that even if you do like Dewtopia, I still use this one pretty consistently as well, just because then I'm not having to use Dewtopia quite as frequently. And this is a good supplemental product. And with CeraVe, you know, they have all those ceramides in the product, so they're more skin friendly and definitely a lot less agitating for certain people. So that's also a really great option. Now, one of the serums that I feel like also really significantly helped with just the texture in general on my skin was the Peach and Lily Glass Refining Serum. If you do follow me on Instagram, I do save empties, and I'm like doing like little quick snackable Instagram stories on things I've used up. I talked about this being like one of my savior serums for the year. I kid you not, I would say about a month into using this, I just started noticing my skin was smoother, my pores weren't as visible. You can't shrink pores or make them disappear. All of those types of marketing claims are not realistic, but you can, you know, work on using the right products that are going to make your pores less visible. And I really think that this did that for me. I just noticed my skin overall, I feel like I don't have quite as much visible texture as I've had in the past, and My skin just feels a lot more smooth. It looks a lot more luminous when I'm using this serum. And I've just had nothing but great things to say from this, and it will be something that I continue to keep in my skincare routine. It's also got niacinamide in it, which the more I use products with niacinamide, the more I feel like my skin specifically reacts really well to those types of serums. I'm gonna give my vitamin C serum to 2 different brands. So first is gonna be Covey, which I don't actually have with me right now, but again, on that Instagram empties highlight, you can see some snackable bits of information on what I thought of that vitamin C serum, and I would definitely say that's still one of my favorites. But the one I do have that's just about gone that I've been using consistently and really liking is the one from Summer Fridays. It's almost got a little bit more of a kind of like gel oil hybrid formulation, so the product feels really nice and slick on the skin, but is quickly absorbed, so you don't have this lingering feeling of oil. A lot of times with vitamin C's, it seems that their formulas are really high in oil, so you get this like really slick layer of oil on your skin, which you don't necessarily always want for the daytime. So I just like how this one, although it does have a little bit of slickness to it like an oil, it gets absorbed into the skin and you're just left with that really nice bouncy, you know, youthful looking skin. And again, I think vitamin C has been another big game player in working on all of this hyperpigmentation I'm dealing with. Now, I also really attribute a lot of my cystic bumps and, you know, just visible acne that came to a head. This serum specifically made it so much more manageable. It was the René Rouleau anti-bump solution. This is incredible and it really works. That's all I can say about this product. If you go to the René Rouleau website, she's worked on this serum for years, and I can tell when I use this product. I don't know how else to put it to you because it is just a pimple spot treatment. So I don't really know what else I would need to tell you other than it works for me. I have had, you know, the spots on my skin where it feels a little bit more tender, and I know that it's something brewing under there. We don't yet know if it's gonna be cystic or if it's gonna come up, and I will work this into that spot, and almost always it just won't even form. This will just like prevent it from forming. But obviously, you know, sometimes you just wake up in the morning and you're blessed with a little scatter of acne, and this really just helps speed up the healing time and make the zit, quite honestly, a lot less aggressive. But it works. It works. And then also I use these whenever I do the René Rouleau anti-bump. I use my little acne patches. To be honest with you, I don't really have a preference on them. I like the ones from Royale, CosRx. CosRx is probably the most cost-effective that I found. Starface, those are a little bit more fun, but acne patches, they work. 2 other really quick serums. We're just gonna touch on these super quick. My favorite oil was the 3 Ships Jojoba. It more so mimics the natural oils in your skin, so it doesn't clog pores or cause any type of acne. I found it to be really hydrating and really soothing, especially on spots with dermatitis or eczema. And then the hyaluronic acid serum of the year was the Tan Luxe Super Glow. Big fan. Even if you are rather fair-skinned, I don't think you need to necessarily be afraid of this. It doesn't produce that noticeable of color. It just gives you a little splash of tint. And for being a hyaluronic acid, it's really nice and hydrating. Oftentimes when I use this, I will just have to use a little bit of moisturizer because it's so moisturizing and it really does keep my skin feeling nice and bouncy. So I loved the Tan Luxe hyaluronic acid. And also, I honestly feel like you get 2 for 1 with this because it like gives you that nice little glow, but then you also have the benefits of the hyaluronic acid. So it's just a nice little treat. I actually did an entire video all on sunscreen pretty early on in the year, so I'll put that in the description box, but I knew my favorite was this one because I repurchased it and I found it to just go really well with makeup and also just be really nice on its own. It's the Supergoop Daily Dose Vitamin C. I really liked this one. It is by far the most lightweight and by far the most fluid, so if you are somebody who tends to wear a lot of other skincare products or you don't like the feeling of sunscreen on your skin, I really liked how this performed much like a vitamin C or any other serum that you typically would use. It gets absorbed and you don't have much of a lingering feeling of sunscreen on the face. I did see it gets a little bit of mixed reviews, so take that into consideration. The fact that I have a drier skin type could be why I tend to lean a little bit more towards liking this. I feel like my skin really just drinks this up, and it's just such a nice, elegantly formulated sunscreen in my opinion, because it pairs so well with my Color Cosmetics. And I'm such a big Supergoop girl. I feel like I always love Supergoop sunscreens the most. When we talk about these exfoliators, I will not bore you to death with my obsession with these, because I know I talk about them all the time. The Dr. Dennis Gross Alpha Beta Peel Pads in the extra strength, my absolute favorite. I won't go too deep into these because I know I talk about them like almost every single skincare video, but in case you haven't seen any of those, the way that these work is in the one sachet, you get your active exfoliating liquid, and then in the second sachet, you have your neutralizing liquid, which stops the active exfoliant from continuing to exfoliate. So it's a two-step process, gentle enough to use every single day, and just absolutely one of my standby favorite skincare products ever, especially for exfoliating. I've been using those for so many years and just recommending them non-stop, but again, I feel like most people who do use those based on my recommendation really love them. So I think it's a very well-loved exfoliator for good reason. Now the other one that I liked, which was a physical and chemical exfoliant mixed into, was the Exuviance Microdermabrasion face polish. So Exuviance was a brand that I actually tried for the first time this year, absolutely fell in love. You'll see when we move into a couple other products, but this was actually my favorite physical exfoliant because I love those microdermabrasion beads. They're really gentle. They feel almost like an ultrafine sand exfoliating your face. So it's a different sensation than a lot of other exfoliating products. And if you do tend to lean a little bit more sensitive, or you want something that's just a little bit more gentle as a physical exfoliator, I think that this really fits the bill. And I like that it also has the glycolic acids in it, so that it really does also give you that extra boost of chemical exfoliant. So just ultra gentle, really just such a beautiful exfoliator. I absolutely loved that one. Are you surprised? Because I feel like for the past few years, I've always recommended Kate Somerville Exfolicate. Okay, let's move into masks. So let's just talk about these Exuviance ones really quick. So the Exuviance Detox Mud Mask, I've spoken about this in other videos as well. I feel like this really specifically helped with any closed comedones that had already formed. So not necessarily the best in preventing them from forming, but when they did form, I noticed that they weren't quite as raised, and I feel like it just in general really helped with getting extra debris and gunk off of my skin. I would use this typically 2 to 3 times a week. I feel like my skin has really normalized a little bit. I'm not noticing quite as many clogged pores. So I will say, although my skin hasn't been as much on the fritz as it has been throughout the entire year of 2021, this has been such a big game player in helping just get all of that gunk off of my skin. And I really liked this mud mask. I feel like it produced visible results the first few times using it versus other mud masks where I didn't really feel like they were doing very much for my skin. This was the first one that I really tried where I was like, okay, I can get the hype behind a mud mask if you find one that works for you. And this one helped when I was really acneic, or also when I was just, you know, looking a little clogged. We got a lot of textury bits and bobs all over the face. Now the other one from Exuviance, which I have already repurchased, even though this one's not all the way completely used up, because I cannot believe the results that this gives me. It is the Illuminating Oxygen Facial Mask. So one thing I do want to say is this is more of a splurge-worthy brand, but oh my gosh, the way your skin looks after you do this, it is like you look like a little pearl, like a little baby pearl coming out of an oyster. Like your skin is so glowy and fresh. Like it just looks absolutely immaculate. The way that this gives you like visibly glass skin that quick the results are fleeting. So it's more so when you use this for the day, your skin looks exceptional. So definitely really great for special events or taking photos, or if you're not going to be wearing makeup for the day and you just want your skin to look poppin' and as good as possible, this will really do the trick. I am genuinely so impressed with how incredible my skin looks when I use this, and I'll tell you right now, the first time I used it, I was just doing household chores, literally scrubbing a toilet. And then I turned around and looked at my bathroom mirror and I was like, all the bubbles had faded and I had my AirPods in and I was like, oh my gosh, Luke, my face. And like, he couldn't hear me. And I was like, Luke, my face, look at it. And I ran out and I looked at my face in natural light and I was like, could it really be that this made my skin look that good in like 5 minutes? And then I used it again and just completely became addicted. And also, just like my little tip to you, if you've had one too many glasses of wine, you took that extra shot, you drank that extra drink, you wake up the next day and you are like, I look like death, but I have to do something. This is like the best for the night after celebrating, when your skin is looking visibly dull and dehydrated and you need that like instantaneous pick-me-up, because then you're going out and you want to look pretty and alive and not like you had that extra drink. That's all I'm gonna say. The next two masks are for pulling out the big guns. When I had a lot of visible acne, the pores were clogged, the skin was just, you know, on the fritz, needed major help without going overboard with actives and completely stripping my skin. So, first one's gonna be Masque Vivant from Biologique Recherche. A staple in my skincare routine, much like lotion P50, but this one was the one that I like used almost every single day, and then I also brought it with me when I traveled. Like, this I feel like is such a great balancing skin mask, whereas it doesn't have anything that's like, you know, gonna strip your skin, make your skin feel dried out. It's not gonna leave you with an agitated, you know, angry base. It's really just great for balancing the skin. Smells like hot cabbage fermentation kombucha that's been left in the sun. Like, it has a very strange, distinct smell, but it works. It balances the skin. If you're having a particularly pesky breakout, use this. Mix in a little tiny drop of water and some baking soda, and it's just gonna completely amp up the product's power and really help to combat that acne. Now, the other one that I started using a little bit closer to the end of the year, but was really happy with just throwing this into my masking routine maybe once or twice a week, and I feel like it significantly helps with the prevention of breakouts. It's the René Rouleau Rapid Response Detox Mask. This one has tea tree oil in it, which you can really smell in the product, and I probably think that's what can be attributed to a lot of the help with preventing the breakouts, but there's also some ingredients I'm not familiar with. But again, these René Rouleau acne products, they work. This one also has like kind of a unique look to it. It's like Sunshine Daisies Buttermellow, and it has a pearl to it too, which is interesting. But I loved this mask. Will repurchase when I use it up. Specifically really great for T-zone areas, really helpful at preventing acne. I spent a lot of the first and middle half of 2021 trying to treat acne rather than trying to prevent it. And I feel like I started noticing the difference in my skin when I was more so working proactively and like trying to prevent acne and trying to treat my skin on the level of not overdoing it, but also like using products that were going to prevent these breakouts from happening. That's when I really started noticing the difference. And also, honestly, the biggest thing for me has just been consistency, finding the products that work, consistently using them, developing a routine, not trying 50 million different skincare products at once, and just really relying on the things that I saw results from, and not being like, ooh, that worked great, now I'm gonna go try another one. You know what I mean? Just like being consistent really paid off, because I feel like for the past month, my skin's actually been in a good spot. I don't have quite as many breakouts, and it just seems to be like good. So I'm hoping we can just stay on that track for this year. And that is everything I wanted to mention for today's video. So those were all of my standout, breakout, favorite, tried and true skincare products of 2021. I really hope that you found this informational and helpful. If you do have any questions about any of these products that I mentioned, you can always leave them in the comments down below, and I will do my best to get back to you and help you out based on my own personal experience with these products. As always, do your own research, kind of take into consideration the way they worked for me, but try to navigate how it's going to work for your skin type personally. That's always what I do when I'm researching a product or trying to decide whether or not I'm gonna like it. I have to take into consideration the person who's recommending it, their type of skin, and what I want from the product specifically. So I really do truly hope that this could have been helpful to some of you that have been struggling with, you know, dermatitis or acne breakouts this year. And I will list and link all of them for you in the description box. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Please be sure to come follow me on Instagram as well. I would love that so much. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye, everyone.